podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to episode 365 of Film Bastards. Yes, with this one in the can, you'll be able to listen to a Film Bastards every day of every non-leap year. What a treat. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by
Matt Foster. Hello, everybody.
We are sans Becky today. Becky is, frankly, doing some work to try and earn some big bucks. Yep. So
she can lord it over me that she's the major breadwinner in it again.
Nice. Absolutely. Full respect to Becky for that. Absolutely. And to be fair,
she does sometimes as well.
No, I bet she does. And to be fair, she had absolutely zero interest in Enola Holmes, and I think Mark only had half interest, if that. So we're going to be reviewing Enola Holmes. We're not being welcomed to Marwin, and we're not doing the devil all the time, because frankly, just poor planning on my part. We recorded on Wednesday, and then Mark reminded me that Mark and Bex were off on holiday all week. It was like, well, shit.
And as well, we were planning, and then we couldn't, unfortunately, because of circumstances, couldn't recording, playing it forward. And so we recorded on Wednesday. Ian then realised he had 4 films to watch for Friday. And now it's Sunday.
Yeah. And to be fair, I watched 2. I watched Greta last year. Like I said before, I'm not watching The Wave. So, yes, look forward to playing it forward probably in a couple of weeks' time, where barely any of us can remember barely any of the details of the films. But it was unfortunately postponed for a very good reason. And by Christ, I hope Knowles had a decent weekend after that. He's fine, just a work thing. So, yes, essentially, Welcome to Marwin, I think, was a little bit of a fucking just spur of the moment thing anyway. But The Devil All the Time, we've postponed that twice now. We will talk about it next time round. But we are talking Enola Holmes, and we are talking Bram Stoker's Dracula. As I said on the show last week, I was looking forward to rewatching it around Halloween time anyway, so fuck it. Yeah, absolutely. It may be a bit of a shorter normal show than usual, even though patrons have just had about 25 minutes of Mark and I talking. I'll save the surprise of what it was for, what it was about for the patrons, but also just a bit of patron housekeeping. I today put up some polls. I am going to do 4 Bond commentaries. And I've put up some polls as a semi-final of sorts. So basically, 4 out of the 24 films released so far in 6 polls. The winner of those polls, I will then have a 1 versus 1 to decide the final 4. It is the voting can be done by patrons only, and obviously the commentaries will only be on the Patreon feed. So patreon.com/Film Bastards. Even though thinking about it, by the time this one comes out, there'll probably only be a day or 2 of the poll left, because we can't upload last week's show until Thursday. To be honest, I might just put both the shows out on the regular feed same day. Who knows? I don't know. But so far, From Russia with Love is in the lead of the first poll. On Her Majesty's Secret Service in the lead on the second. The Spy Who Loved Me in the lead on the third. License to Kill leading the fourth. As you can tell by my voice, I'm actually quite surprised by that, but it's the only 15 rated Bond. Poll number 5 tied GoldenEye and Die Another Day. I can see why people would want me to talk over Die Another Day. And tied in poll 6, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace.
And I'll be joining you for whichever Craig one you do.
I kind of hope it's not Quantum of Solace. I don't know whether there's that much to talk about with that film. I'm sure we'll fill time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I quite like Quantum of Solace.
No, yes, you do. Okay, so that would be something then. My favourite thing about Quantum of Solace is that it's edited by a man called Matt Cheese, but his name's just spelled cheese.
I never noticed that.
It's Matt Cheese. He's put an accent on one of the E's. Nah, mate, your name's Cheese.
Look, that's like James Rodriguez. It's James, you prick.
Yeah, yes, 100% that. So yeah, Bond commentaries. I'll be, assuming No Time to Die isn't pushed, I'll be recording them after LFF is over and done with, leading up to the release of Bond, which I want to say is November the 12th, if memory serves. Yes, it is, because the reason why Freaky is not coming out on Friday the 13th of November over here is because No Time to Die is out Thursday the 12th. Freaky coming out in December over here.
Nice.
Hopefully. Bit of film news. M. Night Shyamalan has announced his new film and that they've started filming. I love the title.
Yeah.
Old.
Nice poster as well.
Good poster. Good post. Go on. Sorry.
The only problem is it's for an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and that kind of ruins the whole fucking aesthetic, doesn't it?
I mean, if it's a Secret Happening sequel, I'm down.
Would that surprise you? It's a really good poster. It's just a shame. Do you know what though? Do you know what I'm doing? When we got the cabin, we always take a bunch of DVDs with us to watch. Just for, even though we can watch things on like Netflix and things like that, just for the sheer experience. When we first went the first few times, we didn't think, fuck it, let's take the Apple TV. We just got a load of DVDs from CEX, I think, in Bridlington. So we're taking a few, but I decided rather than going and buying a few, I'm just going to go in up in the loft and looking like the 4,500 that I've still got up there.
Nice.
And I'm going to take Lady in the Water.
Okay.
Because I remember quite liking Lady in the Water, and everyone calling me an idiot for it. And at the time thinking, well, no, I quite like it. And ever since, I've been scared to rewatch it again because I will literally prove that, yes, that's right, I am an idiot. And I already proved pretty much 2-3 times a day that thing. So I'm kind of okay with that now. But there's also the back of my mind thing saying, but what if you do watch it again, you do kind of like it again? So I'm thinking, fuck it, yeah, I'm gonna give Lady in the Water a rewatch.
It's got its defenders, mind.
I remember just kind of enjoying kind of being caught up in the experience of it. But then I started I was trying to explain it to somebody the other day. And as I was explaining it, that person was going, oh, yeah, that sounds quite good. And I was thinking, no, it doesn't. It sounds terrible. And I was thinking, hang on a minute. Did I miss the fact that he literally cast himself as the Messiah?
Indeed.
Yeah, so it's going to be quite interesting going back and rewatching that.
Yeah, yeah, good luck to you.
I think I'm going to need it.
Another
film that I'm taking as well is Observe and Report.
I like the Observe and Report.
I really like it. And I think sort of like chilling out on an afternoon watching Observe and Report with a couple of beers could be a decent watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind rewatching that. It's yeah, that film's fucking dark.
It sneaks up on you.
Yeah, and it's got that fantastic fucking slow-mo chase sequence towards the end of that cover of Where Is My Mind.
It's at the end where he just literally it has like a fast cut end where he just shoots the guy in the face.
Yeah. It's good shit.
I'm very much looking forward to rewatching that. So old school, early Michael Pena.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was directed by the guy who did the Foot Fist Way, Jody Hill.
Jody Hill, yeah.
Yeah. He was one who just kind of came and went, wasn't he? It was like the dude who directed Napoleon Dynamite. What was his fucking name? Even though he directed Gentleman Broncos, Jared Hess.
Jared Hess, yeah.
Yeah. And Gentleman Broncos, great Sam Rockwell shit in that film. There's something in that film that made me laugh in a way that thing that I talked about a couple of weeks back with That's My Boy with the stripper drinking the orange juice upside down. There's something in Gentleman Broncos that reminds me of that. I think I need to watch Gentleman Broncos again.
The last thing he did was that was Masterminds, that Zach Galifianakis, Owen Wilson, and Kirsten Wiig one.
It never came out, did it?
Amazingly, it didn't come out anywhere over here, but it did come out in the US and actually did not do bad.
Oh, really? Okay.
It didn't do well. 25 million budget, but I'm surprised to look here and go, oh, it made 30 million. Fucking fair enough.
Fucking hell. All right then. I don't know. It probably didn't necessarily embarrass itself then, eh?
No.
Oh, good. So, what was I going to say? Oh, wow, sorry.
That snuck up on you, didn't it?
That was a very, very surprise burp. My apologies. Oh dear. Ever so sorry. So, yes, old. It's just the fact that, okay, cool, films are shooting again.
Yeah.
You know, like it's nice that even though studios have got so much fucking content backed up that they need to get out at some point. This one, Universal said, yeah, it's coming out in 2021. Which is fucking crazy because obviously they've got Candyman, they've got Halloween Kills. They're gonna have this M. Night Shyamalan one. I don't know it, but I do like the confidence of going. Nah, do you know what? Let's start shooting.
Yeah.
So that's something. I don't know. I think that was about it. I believe. Surprised Netflix haven't announced yet that they bought Coming to America. I think that's something like that is not far out.
No.
No.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like this coming week, is anything going to be announced as being delayed and whatnot? I think it's really interesting that Soul will be playing some LFF shows. And it's like it's still really fucking up in the air as to whether that thing's coming out or not.
There was rumours, weren't there, a few weeks ago that it was going to end up going straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we spoke about Black Widow on the last record, but something about how Mulan did on Disney Plus has fucking scared Disney. Which for me is good. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like LFF get the world premiere of Soul, and then it's like, right, once these screenings happen, when the fuck is that film actually going to play again?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And I don't know, Disney need to release it at some point in the next few months because there's going to be barely any competition for best animated feature, and if it hits in the way that it could, there's best picture possibilities for that fucker as well.
Mm.
I mean, like in a field like of the likes that we will have this year, who's to say? Like, isn't it? Didn't the Academy change the rules so now it's a guaranteed 10 every year?
Yes.
So, I mean, Okay, what have we got then? Trial of the Chicago 7, Mank, The
Five Bloods.
The Five Bloods, yeah. Soul, Tenet's not getting a Best Picture nomination.
I think it is this year.
I don't know. I don't think it's well liked enough, but I get what you're saying.
But
So, okay.
I don't think it is, but I think it's almost like
By default.
They feel like, right, this was the one that kind of that was the glue that tried to hold everything together a little bit.
Yeah, so almost like for what it kind of represented as much as that. Yeah, all right. Okay, so that's 5. I mean, you start going into the likes of Ron Howard's one, Hillbilly Elegy, because it's Ron Howard and it's based on a book.
What's that one that's got Daniel Kaluuya in it that comes out in...
The Last Black Messiah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking hell of a trailer.
So I think something like that I could see getting a nomination for sure.
What about the new Borat?
Nah.
Great title though.
What?
The new Borat. Have you seen the title?
No, what's it called?
Oh, let me just get it up again. I don't know. It made me laugh. Come on.
Just having a look at what else has come out sort of this year.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
Borat, gift of pornographic monkey to Vice Premier Mikhail Pence to make benefit recently diminished nation of Kazakhstan.
Fucking hell, fair enough. do you think that biggest box office grossing film still of 2020, Bad Boys for Life, could get on this?
I mean, nah, but
if I was that film, right, and it got to the 1st of January 2021, and that was the biggest grossing movie of 2020, I would take out a fucking billboard of just Martin Lawrence and Will Smith just laughing.
Just the time is now.
Yeah, we fucking told you.
The time is now. Consider Bad Boys for Life. I mean, because it's interesting, because it's like apparently there's been word this week that Wes Anderson's gonna or like the distributors, I should say, as opposed to Wes Anderson, gonna hold back The French Dispatch, not have it for Oscar contention, but launch it at Cannes next year. And it's like, that's placing a bet, that is, and good on them for like the show of support. But May next year, we absolutely sure they're going to be able to do a Cannes?
Yeah, it's unlikely, isn't it? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I mean, this is it, man. This is it. But then again, saying that, they just did a fucking Venice, didn't they? And it was all socially distanced, and they actually had people there. Yeah. So
it went quite well.
Yeah, quite. So that's it. Like old Corona, as I said in the Patreon bit, it's not massive, touch wood, it's not massively affecting cinemas and like exhibition and whatnot. What is affecting it is the fact that no fucker wants to put any content out.
Yep. That's the unfortunate business of it.
Yeah. Anyway, also, just reading that Tom Holland film that's, I think, directed by the Russos, Cherry, got picked up by Apple TV Plus. Oh. So paid $30 million for it, which is interesting. I assume that film must be quite low budget if Apple only paid $30 million for it. Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Yeah. Trailers. Just because I don't think we talked about it last week, the new one from Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, the directors of The Endless, Synchronic.
Oh, I haven't seen this. Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, I did watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks and also, even though, like, just talking about how cinemas aren't being affected by COVID, no one release anything. They put the directors put out a statement saying when it comes out in US theaters, please don't go see it, because we don't want you getting COVID, which is something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently they asked the distributor to basically just release it on VOD or postpone it, and the distributors said no. So they put out a statement along with one of the producers basically saying, we don't want people to go out to go see it. Feel free to go see it in a drive-in, absolutely fine. If you're actually going to go to a cinema, for the love of God, take precautions. And it's like, wowee. And apparently Jordan Peele was massively on the we need to delay Candyman to next year thing because of his worries about COVID as well, and especially because of how it's disproportionately affecting the black community.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's real interesting. And I mean, fair fucking play, because all these people have obviously only got fellow human beings in mind when they're putting out statements like this. There is a part of me that does think like going and being that militant about it. It's like, but we don't know when cinemas are going to be safe enough for you yet. There is an aspect of that for me there. But I would say with Synchronic, those guys have never really had films pop really big at the cinema, and it kind like that VOD seems to have treated them quite kindly, so I can understand why they'd be like, look, just stick it out on VOD, people can watch it safely. But it looks interesting, and I want to see it in a cinema. So I don't know, like Anthony Mackie going fucking mad and having visions and whatnot, I'll watch that.
Yeah. I'm saying, I haven't seen Endless, but I really liked Spring, so.
Yeah, and I mean the Endless is cracking, especially if you've seen their earlier work, which is real interesting. But yeah, I'm up for Synchronic. I think it might have played LFF last year. Like, it's been done for a while.
Because they've actually got another movie finished and set to come out.
Yeah, there you go. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Synchronic. Also, just as a slight tangent as well, it might be worth saying, I think we spoke on the show a couple of weeks back about how some LFF films, they hadn't said that there were going to be press screenings for them. There was an update on that last week. Possessor, the new Brandon Cronenberg, will be getting some sort of online press screening. We don't know when yet, but hopefully we'll be able to make that work.
Yeah.
That feels like quite a Film Bastards one to do. And Regina King's directorial debut, One Night in Miami, which is actually starting to get a bit of Oscar buzz as well, is also going to be getting a press screening. So we'll have to see. We've only got the it's kind of like background stuff, but we've only got the schedule for this coming Friday through the Tuesday after at the moment. Yeah. I think we'll probably get the schedule for the next week after that, some point this week. And yeah, just while we're on that, so are you guys going to be able to watch anything on the Friday?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. So the Riz Ahmed one, are we thinking?
Yes, that's what I'm looking.
So Mowgli, Mogul.
That's what it's called, something like that, isn't it? Mowgli.
Mowgli, yeah. So we'll be looking to cover that. The Abel Ferrara film Siberia has got its press screening a week Monday. I'll definitely be able to watch that. So if you guys can't, I'll talk about it separately.
think we're planning on watching that.
Okay, cool. And Relic as well. I'm going to try and watch. That system's interesting. Like the whole so fucking inside baseball. This apologies, but like so basically you've got an hour from when the link it kind of works to start watching it. But then as long as you don't click away from the browser window,
yep,
you can resume it at a later point.
That's apparently what it is, yeah.
Which is fucking fascinating.
Yeah, as long as your browser doesn't refresh.
Yeah. So my question would be, is there anything stopping you from just opening 4 tabs and then just clicking play on your laptop and then pause when each one starts and then just catching up on them at your own schedule?
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you?
I mean, it'd be fucking amazing if that is how it works.
It would be quite amusing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fucking fascinating experiment, this. But all the fucking, props to the BFI because they haven't even charged press this year. They never used to, and then they charged press for a few years, and they haven't this year. And they could well have, I mean, in the end of the day, if it's online screenings, there'll be a lot of people. It's going to be the least London-centric coverage they'll probably ever have.
That's the interesting bit, isn't it?
Mm. And I don't know, it'll be really fun to see what voices come out there, It's really, 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 really fucking looking forward to it, and hopefully over the next few weeks we'll have some good coverage for you guys. Anyway, let's talk Enola Holmes, which is directed by a man, and that man's name
Brad Beer
is Harry Bradbeer. Yes. It stars Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, Sam Claflin, Lewis Partridge, Helena Bonham Carter, Francis Dillator, and Fiona Shaw. So, this is based on a series of books by Nancy Springer called The Enola Holmes Mysteries, and centres on Millie Bobby Brown's Enola, who has been living with her mother, played by Helena Bonham Carter, her 2 brothers, Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes, both fucked off out of the house years ago, and she doesn't really remember them. Her mother goes missing, however, and she engages them to say that their mother's missing, and it all kind of like kicks off a mystery, which also has a kind of a B plot, which is also an A plot, but also a B plot, revolving around a missing Marquess. And it goes on from there. So this is a Netflix acquisition. It was originally Warner Brothers were behind it, and it was going to get a theatrical release. And then Corona happened, and Warner sold it to Netflix. Mark, does this feel like a theatrical film, or does this feel like something that, fair enough, this is a Netflix film?
Fair enough, it's a Netflix film.
Okay, so that was our review of Enola Holmes, and
that's not even based around whether or not I like the film or not. But yes, it's a Netflix film.
It's got that mid-budget kind of thing, which doesn't really get released in cinemas anymore.
I was surprised to learn that this wasn't a Netflix movie. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and a fair play, because Millie Bobby Brown, obviously from Stranger Things, you'd think they were just in the Millie Bobby Brown game, but it's got that whole kind of thing where it doesn't necessarily look cheap, but like a lot of the backgrounds of Victorian England feel very CG edition, which don't look great. The cinematography's not pretty workman-like, to be fair. And I will also, to be fair, Henry Cavill of The Witcher, so they're in the Henry Cavill game as well. Yeah, what did you think of it overall, though?
The thing is, there seems to be this weird thing about Millie Bobby Brown in the sense that she seems to have. I mean, 'cause I think she produced this as well, didn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
That she seems to have put an awful lot of people's noses out of joint. I actually haven't seen her in anything because she's not actually done that much, and I don't watch Stranger Things, and I haven't watched the Godzilla versus Monsters, was it called?
Oh, King of the Monsters. Yeah, I forgot she was in that. Yeah,
I haven't watched that, so I've had very little exposure to Millie Bobby Brown, so she hasn't had the chance to either wow me or piss me off. My only exposure to Millie Bobby Brown that I know of is that she's a massive red, so I was already kind of in her corner a little bit, and so I didn't have any of that background noise going on, and I really like Henry Cavill. I can never make my mind up with Sam Claflin. Is he either really good or is he really bad? And I still can't make my mind up on that. But I like the idea of the film from the trailer, but she did annoy me with the constantly turning around. And I thought, oh, but is that a trailer thing? And then was very quickly shown in the film. No, it's not a trailer thing. It basically is a good chunk of the film is her turning around to the camera. And I'm not that fourth wall breaking doesn't bother me. I actually kind of quite like it when it's used quite well. And it is occasionally used well here. It's just it starts to become I start to feel myself going with the film going no, continue doing what you're doing, continue going on with your journey, stop turning round and telling me what's happening. I can see it, please continue with the journey. So that was starting to irk me a little bit, but it's a really odd one, I think. I think if it gets you, and it's aimed at you, then you'll get an awful lot out of it. But it didn't get me. But I didn't dislike it. But it didn't grab me. It is way too long. Way too long. I paused at one point to get a drink, and turned at Becky. By the way, I paused it and I was enjoying it. And I turned at Becky and went, how the fuck has this been only on for 30 minutes? And part of that is because they're cramming an awful lot in, but then there's not an awful lot of story. It's a really fucking odd duck of a movie. I think all the performances are good in it. I think the story is flimsy as hell. In the sense that the mystery that isn't even really that much of a mystery. It does something that a lot of modern kids movies like this are, because it is a kids movie because it's based on a selection of kids books that focuses on it's almost this fetishizing the upper classes at the turn of the century.
Sure.
That's kind of like, I wasn't surprised to see that Harry Badbeer that he directed a few episodes of Fleabag. That did not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is his first film and directed a lot of TV stuff and some decent TV stuff, but this is his first film and he's directed a lot of TV stuff. And I will say Enola Holmes would, if it was made 20 years ago, would have been on the BBC on a Sunday night at 6 o'clock.
Sure.
Which again isn't a criticism, but that is just, it would have been. But there's almost like this, a lot of our British I would say, even under 50, actors, directors and writers come from a privileged background. And so we're getting a lot of views of privileged lifestyles. And it's started to be, we're getting period pieces based on privileged lifestyles, and they always kind of irk me. I don't give a shit is the honest answer. And does that come from a place of working class snobbery? Maybe. It does from that. But yeah, I liked all the performances. There's a few bits in it where I go, but wait a minute. What? like major bits in it where I go, wait a minute, but what about how? That you kind of you've got to go, right, well, no, there has to be a suspension of belief there. But then I go, but it's right there. So, for instance, when she puts the ciphers, when she puts the coded messages in all the newspapers, and then Sherlock puts a selection of just numbers in there for her, and she deciphers it using the cipher code, that thing that she's got there that she used with her mother. How did he know which numbers corresponded to which letter?
He's Sherlock Holmes.
Right, but that unfortunately isn't good enough in this.
No, you're right, it's not.
It can't cut it, and that is that's what I thought at first. I thought, well, he is Sherlock Holmes. I thought, no, you can't do that when you're pitching her as being the next great detective and he's the original great detective. Your mystery has got to be a little bit tighter, and this kind of wasn't a little bit. But I can't say I didn't enjoy it, and I definitely can't say it's shit, because it is not shit, but it's just not for me. And I think I'm cool with saying that, in that I didn't get it, but it's not aimed at me, and I got enough out of it. But if this is 100 minutes, I would probably have a much better time with it. But the big mystery that we've got going on about to find the mother, she doesn't actually get found, and nothing happens with that whatsoever at all.
No, yeah, I mean that was interesting, because it was getting so close to the end, and it was like, are they honestly just going to drop the mother part and then maybe pick it up in a sequel or something?
And therein lies the problem, right? If you couldn't tell the mother story in this film, and then you sidetracked, which the movie quite clearly does, then sidetrack to going from finding my mother to saving
Tewkesbury or whatever.
That she keeps on saying that full title, which is supposed to be cute, and it just makes you want to fucking burn Gorman in the face. It's if you're gonna do that, it's a bit like, hang on a minute, no, because your mystery was shit in the first one, and you got away on essentially charisma and a little bit of, right, all right, I'm enjoying this and all of that. If you're then going to pitch that in the second one, it's a bit like, nah, fuck off, you tried that in the first one, you couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. It's no, because I get it that, in the end of the day, the story's not about her finding her mother, it's about her finding who she is and whatnot, so
but again, I disagree with that, because we already know who she is. She doesn't change from the first fucking bit to the last fucking bit. She doesn't change.
Actually, no, fair enough. There is no personal growth whatsoever. No, yeah, no, you're right. She's fully formed from the off. Yeah.
So that's it, which is not a problem. But my point then comes back to, is the story really about a political vote of a lord? Is that really the fucking story?
Well, that's because that's the thing. Like, you've got the slightly kind of half-hearted, really, kind of like look at like the world there, and that woman has the conversation with Henry Cavill about he finds politics boring, and she's like, well, it's because you're comfortable in the way you are and you don't need to engage with it. I'm paraphrasing there, but it's like, so, and then that vote is about like voting reform and whatnot. So it is there in the background, but it's a film that's over 2 hours long and just does seem to chuck things up in the air. And the only plot thread that's really given enough time to feel fully done by the end is her relationship with Tewkesbury. It's like I thought they were quite a nice little couple at the by the end as well. I thought they had a good sparky dynamic with each other, and I did like that.
How old is he supposed to be?
Sorry,
how old is he supposed to be?
if she's 16, I could see him being like 17, 18.
Because I think I'm wondering how old you have to be to get past it, the House of Lords. It must be 18 there. That's not too bad. It's not as questionable as the fact that for some reason Sam Claflin is cast as the older brother to Henry Cavill.
That was crazy.
The fact that no matter what, Sam Claflin will always look 27, and Henry Cavill will always look like a very handsome man in his 40s. And I was amazed to learn that actually that Henry Cavill is younger than me, which made me feel fucking incredibly depressed.
All right.
Yeah, it made me go, oh well, that's just twisting my own knife into me there. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a first time director film. He's got a very it's competently made to a point, but it's also sprawling when it doesn't need to be sprawling. Like you say, if this thing was 100 minutes long, it would flow an awful lot better. But I can't say I was ever bored. Honestly I can't. But by the end of it, it was like, well, there were certain bits of that did actually feel redundant. Like Mycroft Holmes may as well just not be in it. I don't really see what Sam Claflin brought to the table. Henry Cavill, his arc, he has growth.
Yeah.
And his arc by the end I thought was really nice. It's fine. I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite charming. I like Millie Bobby Brown as a screen presence. I'll say that. I thought that it was like she was intelligent, but she wasn't necessarily rubbing your nose in it. It felt like that, she was having a laugh, really, and I appreciated that. I would watch more of these. I would. I'll be honest. I'd rather it be her and Henry Cavill having adventures together, though. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, her as Sherlock's assistant. But instead of following what Sherlock is doing, you're following what she's doing as his assistant.
Sure. Yeah.
That kind of thing. So she's his assistant, but he just sends her off on shit that he can't be asked to fucking, cases that he can't be asked to deal with, and then he'll just try and swoop in at the end and pretend he fucking solved it.
Yeah, there you go.
So a little bit of an Inspector Gadget kind of fucking dealio.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fine with that, and I would watch another one because I didn't not enjoy my time with it. I just it's odd in the sense that I was expecting it to either be a lot better or a lot worse, and it just ended up being a really weird kind of mixture of things, really, that sometimes works really well and sometimes doesn't. And it seemed to, for a mystery film, it seemed to lack any mystery or intrigue because everything gets solved really quickly. I need to solve the puzzle. I've solved it. I've solved that. And it just, and then, another one that actually irked me. Another meeting that she was having that Enola accidentally happened upon that her mother was having with those people.
Yeah.
In her house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Why were they talking in ridiculous code, right? Why were they talking in code when they didn't need to? It makes no fucking sense, and you cannot make any sense of it. It literally is like they picked a bunch of fucking places in London and went, right, how can we make anagrams of this? What can we do? Well, we can make these anagrams get them to say this. And it makes fucking zero sense.
It's, I don't know, like they're trying to get used to referring to those things in those kinds of ways so that when they're talking about this stuff out in the open, they don't fuck up.
Except it goes nowhere.
No, you're right.
And it was a little bit like, oh my God, it's one of those where you're watching it going, right, it's not, I don't know if you're trying to be smart and failing miserably, or if it's just that, well, actually, it's not a film aimed at me. It's aimed at a younger audience. And that's not me going, I'm smarter than children, yay, but smarter than most children because they're fucking children. But the other bit is, I think kids will be bored in this.
Oh, mate, 100% Lottie switched off after like 15 minutes.
Kids will be bored of this because it's not that interesting. You know, I do think that the problem is, this is the type of movie that that grandparents will think their kids like. But their grandkids will like, and their grandkids are going, no, I want to play Fortnite, and I want to watch Spider-Man. And they're going, no, watch this. It's definitely not about politics. And then winking and thinking, no, it's actually not. It mentions politics, but it has nothing about it.
It's like Wes Anderson with Fantastic Mr. Fox in Isle of Dogs, where it's just like, yeah, kids will like this. Why? I don't know, because it's got animals in it.
Have you met a child?
Yeah. I'm Isle of Dogs. I'm gonna make a film that's half in subtitles because kids fucking love reading subtitles.
Yeah, it's like no, your kid might enjoy it, but I guarantee you, I want to punch your kid.
No, I mean, that's slight tangent. That's the thing. Lottie would fucking love Isle of Dogs. She'd love it because it is about dogs. But because half that fucking film is in subtitles, she can't. I'd have to I'd have to talk over it for her. You know, and anyway, but yeah, and you're right though. That, and to be fair, I don't think the film has been marketed as a kids' film, but at the same time, it's based off of like young adult source novel.
Yeah.
And it stars Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
You know, it's an odd duck, is Enola Holmes. I mean, like I say, I liked it. I liked it fine. And again, I say this a lot, but if you're so inclined, you'll have a perfectly decent time with it. But at the same time, I could understand, Mark, why you're just like, yeah, it's fine. It's just not for me.
Yeah, and that's it. Without question, it's definitely not shit, because it isn't shit.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's not my bag. And I think sometimes you've got to kind of, with films, you can take what you get from it, but you've got to look at things sometimes and go, right, but it's not bad. It's just I didn't get on with it. That doesn't make it bad because it didn't fucking. It didn't grip me. So I always think that's a preposterous way to look at cinema. Is, well, I didn't like it, therefore it's shit. Well, no, that doesn't make fucking sense. You're basically saying that all art should be made for me.
Yeah, quite.
And let's face it, we don't want all art to be made for me. We just don't.
No, I think society is far more comfortable for that.
Literally, Craig Robinson would be going, I need a week off. I just need 1 week off.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's funny. So, how did the audience poll come out?
I don't know, but Ian, Bern Gorman turns up as Bern Gorman.
I mean, he's a fucking wet-faced freakazoid,
isn't he? There was a bit where she says, I'll never forget that face. I was like, no, you weren't, because it's Bern Gorman's face. Nobody forgets that face.
No, that'll be etched into your fucking nightmares now. So weird that he was like kind of like a sex symbol in Torchwood, and he looks exactly the same. It's so weird.
If it's a sex symbol in something, it's going to be Torchwood. So our audience poll, definitely not shit, 57%, and touching cloth, 43%.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's about right. I'm glad it didn't get any shit, because I don't think it's shit. But I also, it's a really fucking odd one. But like you say, I will watch a sequel if it comes out. When it comes out, sorry, because it will get a sequel.
Yeah, this thing will fucking do huge numbers for Netflix. You would assume, eh? So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think that the sequel will be. I think there'll be a thing that Netflix have where they've said we get the sequel though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's a Netflix thing through and through at this point, isn't it?
Right.
Cool.
The Mulberry Boys every Friday night on the show. You better know they keep it tight. ETL is back and the J-Strom's in the zone. Introduce the co-host, he doesn't do it alone. PCZ is about to hold court. You know he's on the headset, you can hear him snort. Pop culture, movies, TV shows, and games. Rotten Tomatoes, reviews, news, and Blu-rays. Foggy don't play around, he will bust a drop pass. Welcome to the Entertainment Landfill Podcast, the Jason and Steven Show. It's the Jason and Steven Show. What? The Jason and Steven Show. It's the Jason and Steven Show.
Are you a craft beer junkie?
Do you eagerly anticipate the freshest IPA release from your local craft brewer?
Do you check in every beer you've ever had on Untapped?
Do you know the difference between a Belgian triple and a Berliner Weisse?
Then do we have a podcast for you. What's Untapped podcast gives you beer reviews, interviews with brewers, behind the scenes access to beer festivals, games, and more. Whether you're a craft beer junkie or new to the world of craft brewing, What's Untapped podcast is something for you.
Check us out online, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and now wearepodsyndicate.com. And as always, keep drinking, you dum-dums.
Okay, so let's talk about some what we've been watching then. So Mark, what have you got for us?
I've got a couple because, like I say, it's only been a few days since recording. I did watch some stuff for Playing It Forward. So I did watch Greta, which is going to be fun to chat about.
Yep.
Yeah, but what I'll say is Ian knows me well. There's a fucking moment in Greta where you don't expect something to go off, and it really goes off, and I went, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but that's great.
Good. Okay, I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'll go into more detail on Playing It Forward when we record that. I rewatched a movie that I watched a few years ago called Coffee Town. Because you ever get that thing where your brain like clicks onto something and goes, you want to rewatch this, don't you? And you go, yeah, I want to rewatch that. And then you start thinking, am I the only person in the world that is rewatching this?
Sure, yeah, I think you probably are, knowing you, but yeah.
So have you ever seen Coffee Town, or even heard of Coffee Town, or remember me talking about Coffee Town?
I think I remember you talking about it previously, like in some far reach in my brain, but go on.
So it stars Glenn Howerton, one of the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And Ben Schwartz and Steve Little as three friends. So the guy from It's Always Sunny plays a guy called Will, who is essentially, he works from home, but then through a series of events ends up having to go and use the local coffee shop called Coffee Town as his essentially like his workplace. And so he's working there. The guy who is the manager of that, he's one of the supervisors there, who's played by Josh Groban, hates the fact that he just comes in there and just lounges it and uses it like an office and essentially exploits the loopholes to be able to use it like that. But it's one of those like hangout movies where Ben Schwartz plays Gino, who is a cop who just abuses his power as a cop, who just comes in and just meets him for coffee, and Chad, who essentially has essentially got annoyed at the fact that people got smoking breaks at work, so then used to fake that he was smoking so he could get these smoking breaks, but then accidentally really took up smoking.
Fuck it. Just as a slight tangent, having to explain to someone, no, I'm not giving you a 15-minute paid break for smoking, and having to explain why I'm not doing that was one of the more infuriating moments of my time managing people.
It's mental. Having to say to them, going, well, I have staff that smoke, and they will occasionally go to me, I'm all right to go out for a quick cig, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, because if it's done at an appropriate time, anything like that, I'm fine with that. And luckily, my staff who don't smoke have never come to me and gone, well, don't I get that? Because they know if they turn around and go, man, it's a quick whip out and get a drink, yeah, of course you can, as long as it's done at the right time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Bits like that. So I'm kind of chilled like that. But yeah, I have had to explain to people, no, a smoking break isn't a right. Do it on your fucking lunch to people.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
So he's taken up smoking just to get this. And they're going to turn this Coffee Town bistro, so Will then knows that he will lose it as an office. So they decide to fake a robbery of the place. And they're planning this. Chad can't seem to get it in his head that they're faking a robbery, that they're not actually committing a robbery, and keeps talking about the fact that it's going to be really good for him because he could kind of use the money. And yeah, just like random weird shit happens. Like one of them gets into a fight with a kid with Down syndrome because they can't work out whether or not a normal person could fight a kid with Down syndrome, because Down syndrome kids are super strong. And so there's bits like that in it.
Okay.
But it all kinds of works in a really quite nice way. Like, that sounds like it should be really mean-spirited, and it's not. It works. And they end up becoming really good friends with this kid with Down syndrome through this. Because the kid with Down syndrome's like, nah, I can kick the shit out of this guy. And yeah, it's one of those like 80-odd minute movies that at some point is going to crop up on Netflix and he's going to find a bit of a home, and I'm surprised it hasn't yet. But yeah, it's quite nice. You've got Adrian Palicki is in there that supplies, good kind of comic relief, and also she's somewhat nice to look at kind of thing, which is literally what she's there for. But she's kind of in on that joke as well, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's quite a lot of fun. Moving on to a movie again, I'm going to ask you if you've seen this movie, Ian. And if you haven't, I will implore you to watch it. Have you ever seen the Denzel Washington, Jonathan Lithgow movie Ricochet?
No.
You need to watch this. And you need to watch it like on a Saturday or a Friday night when you're not at work the next day with a couple of beers, when you've got a mild buzz on, because you will adore this.
Nice.
So,
okay,
it's early Denzel, 1991. It's also got Ice-T and Kevin Pollak in there.
Okay.
Denzel plays a cop who ends up becoming a district attorney because he finds fame off the back of the fact that he busts Jonathan Lithgow. And it ends up being on TV, this bust that he gives, because somebody's filming it at the time. At that point, while that's happening, Jonathan Lithgow is holding a gun to a girl's face, and he's having this like to do with Denzel Washington. And he says, and I think I'm getting this right because it was a couple of weeks ago that I started watching this and then got broke off, and I continued watching it this week. I'm going to blow this girl's face off. It's going to look so bad that her boyfriend's going to have to put a bag over her head next time he fucks her. It's a line. There's a bit in this movie where Jonathan Lithgow is in prison, in the mess hall, in the mess hall there, literally, he essentially wins over the white supremacists by having a gladiatorial battle with another white supremacist, where they move all the tables out. Apparently there's no guards here, right? And strap like bits of newspaper to all of their arms to use as armor. And then, so you're thinking, all right, this is kind of, newspaper on arm, that's fine. And then they have massive double-edged machetes to fight with. And it's like, okay, this has gone somewhere weird. there's just some absolutely batshit lines in it. Jonathan Lithgow's little assistant man that he has. At one point, they taser Denzel Washington to kidnap him, to then try and frame him for all these crimes that he's doing. When he tasers him and he goes out, Jonathan Lithgow's assistant, guy or henchman, says, "Oh my God, he's completely out. I wonder if he shit himself. I can't wait to check." He's like, what? You want to see if Denzel Washington shit himself? And he can't wait to look. Honestly, mate, it is absolutely mental, but just an awful lot of fun. Lithgow's doing some stuff in this movie. Doing some stuff.
Ricochet.
Okay,
yeah. Cool. Nice. All right.
I will sort you out, is what I will say.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an awful fucking lot of fun. Yeah, and that's all I've watched, other than the movies we're going to talk about.
Okie dokie.
Last thing I was on Ricochet is it will get an awful lot of watching over the years from me because it's just mental.
What's it on?
I have an old copy of it.
Okay, got you. Up in the loft.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Nice. Thank you. So I've got a couple. I think I forgot to talk about Dreamgirls on the last show. Or did I talk about it?
I thought you did talk about Dreamgirls.
No, I think I forgot as well. Excuse me. So I've been on this kind of Eddie Murphy kick a little bit of late. It came up on Netflix. I was like, I've never seen that before. And we were talking about Bill Condon a little while back as well, just because the fucking mental career he's had.
Yeah.
And here's an example of it. So musical from the mid-noughties, which I kind of knew about because I knew it was like Jennifer Hudson's big breakout thing. She gets an introducing credit in this, so I think she'd won American Idol a couple of years previous, and yeah, the pace of the film is insane. It feels like there is literally a song every couple of minutes, and it really fucking ramps through the story.
Did Eddie Murphy get nominated for Best Supporting for this as well?
Yeah, so this was the year where it kind of seems like Norbit fucked him over. And yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting because you watch it now and it's Eddie Murphy is fucking great in this. It also feels like if he was getting an Oscar, it's because it's time we gave Eddie Murphy an Oscar.
Yeah.
He's a good supporting player. He sings a bunch, and see people on Twitter exploding because they discovered that Eddie Murphy did Party All the Time in the 80s. Yeah, that song's a fucking banger. What's the problem?
I'm still waiting for when people are going to realise and remember that Andy Cole released a song in the mid-90s called Outstanding.
Who did, sorry?
Andy Cole, the footballer.
The footballer?
Yeah.
Really? Outstanding.
He released a song called Andy Cole's Outstanding, and it was it's like a rap song.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah. At some point, people are going to discover that, and when they do, I'm going to go, I have been telling people for years about this.
But it just is a slight tangent. Party All the Time, I didn't know it was some big unknown thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was a thing people knew.
Yeah, that tune, that chorus, I've just known that chorus for a long time.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, and I mean he's very good in this. But he's not the focus. He is supporting, but he's kind of the catalyst because the girls start their careers kind of as backing singers for him. And then after that, he kind of pops up every now and then. Then, spoiler alert for a 14-year-old film, his character tops himself because Jamie Foxx's kind of evil record producer won't let him do the things he wants to do with his career. and he's very, very good, but it does just feel like one of those. It's just kind of like a steam train rolling along, and that, and that's why he's getting nominated. Yeah. But yeah, and like I say, oh, nice. It's not to say he's not good. But yeah, it's, and the thing is, the plot barrels along so fast that by the end, it kind of just feels like, shit, okay, we're wrapping up already then. So Jennifer Hudson's character, it's an interesting arc, because the whole thing is basically she's got a fucking fantastic voice, but she always talks about wanting to do this and that, and she never quite does it. She's always finding excuses for herself, and so and then they decide to have Beyonce front the group instead, even though it's kind of like Jamie Foxx's way of controlling the situation, because he knows Jennifer Hudson's character's got a better voice, or blah blah blah. But then the second half of the film, she kind of comes back, but it's a bit, it's like a smaller victory where, okay, she's singing in public again and she's not scared, and then she has a bit of a reunion with the Dream Girls just right when they're breaking up. And it's like, oh, okay then. And the end of the first half of the film is Jennifer Hudson's big, I'm telling you I'm not going, but then she goes. It's weird, because it's like this song to Jamie Foxx about how she's not fucking off, and she is going to make a name for herself, and then the character doesn't, and it's just very odd. But then also, again, spoilers for Dreamgirls, she's shagging Jamie Foxx at first, and then he turns his attention to Beyonce, and then she gets pregnant. She doesn't tell him about the kid, and then there's a Dreamgirls reunion performance at the end, and then Jamie Foxx sees the kid, puts two and two together, but then it ends, and it's just okay, I don't really know what I'm supposed to think in this moment, but it's got this whole kind of barreling along energy like musicals do, but by the end it's okay, so the Dreamgirls have kind of made their peace with each other. That's nice. Jamie Foxx has got a kid that he didn't know about, and even though he was basically evil record producer man, are we supposed to feel sorry for him now? And I don't know. It just, the second half of this film just felt really like it was juggling a load of balls and then just let them all fall down on the floor. And it's a shame, because there's some the second half of it's got Eddie Murphy, his whole the event that basically makes Jamie Foxx fire him, is playing a tribute to the record label show, and he's singing this ballad, and he's nah, fuck this, I'm gonna sing something else, and then he's singing this great, almost James Brownie kind of number, and that shit's fucking great. And so then you've got that, but juxtaposed against Beyonce learning that Jamie Foxx isn't a very nice guy, and Jennifer Hudson making a very, very small comeback. The first half wrote checks that the second half's ass couldn't cash, basically.
Yeah, it's a film that runs out of steam with itself.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I mean, Hudson is very good. Beyonce's really good, actually. Jamie Foxx, decent. The cast are all good. It's so weird that Jennifer Hudson number happens then, and then it's just the fact that it's called I'm Telling You I'm Not Going, and then she fucks off. It's
this is you're lying, bitch.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it feels like I'm probably missing something there, but I watched the film, I gave the film my attention, and that's what I came away with. So hey, only other one apart from playing it forward stuff, I watched Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. So Friday night, show playing it forward gets postponed, and it's right, fuck it, it's Friday night, what am I gonna watch? Amazon Prime suggests to me, because I watched Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Go on then. So as I said last week, I went to the cinema and watched this and fucking hated it. Watching it now, I've got no idea why. It's fun. I honestly could not tell you why I reacted so strongly to it previously, other than I must have just had a bug up my arse. I mean, it's the first one's already kind of odd enough. This second one goes full on McG just taking the piss, and it's incredible. Like, there is an action sequence where an assassin is trying to get someone at a motocross event. So the angels all have to pose as motocross riders.
Yeah.
And it's being, like, refereed by Pink.
Yeah, and the weirdness of this is that I think the rider who's doing all like the stunt bits, stuff like that, was Pink's husband.
Sure.
It literally is like they went, Pink, we want you to do the title song for Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, and she went, all right, but you've got to cast my husband in the film, and you've got to do an entire sequence based around what my husband does for a living.
No, I mean, but the thing is, the sequence...
And Mick G went, all right.
Yeah, sounds like a laugh. Why not?
Because he just really likes fucking Pink.
Yeah,
not fucking Pink, just Pink the artist.
You know, fair enough. You know, and I mean, like that sequence is incredible. It's Rodrigo Santoro going up motocross jumps and then turning around on his bike and shooting at the angels who are chasing him, but in slow-mo bullet time, with the Prodigy soundtracking the entire thing. And it's like, it was so weird, because like the first one had Smack My Bitch Up. This one's got Firestarter and Breathe.
Has it?
Yeah.
So basically, McG's a big Prodigy fan.
McG fucking loves Fat of the Land. Like that, he probably would have used Funky Shit, but they used that in the end credits for Event Horizon. He was like, oh, it's been used. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but I mean, it all looks like the green screen and the CG looks so bad now. Like, there's a sequence at the beginning where they kind of like go off a dam, and it looks horrific. But
aren't some of the guys from Jackass in it as well?
Yeah, Chris Pontius plays an Irish gangster.
It was that weirdness where there was also, what else was it? What's that one about the club dancers that starred Maria Bello and what's it? Oh, fucking hell, what's it called? That randomly, like half of the Jackass crew fucking just turned up in a bar for that movie as well.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll find out. Give me a second. I'll find out.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a film that has Justin Theroux play an Irish gangster, and do you know what? His Irish accent's not bad, at least to my ear. Like, he's pretty convincing.
I'm just looking at some of the cameos in there. It's the Olsen twins, Carrie Fisher, Bruce Willis.
Yep.
The Pussycat Dolls make an appearance. By the way, the movie I was thinking of was Coyote Ugly.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, if you said Piper Parabo, I would have been like, yeah, Coyote Ugly, but you went with Maria Bello, which I respect.
Yeah.
It's absolutely taking the piss throughout, but has a pretty good time with itself. Shia LaBeouf's in it for no reason whatsoever. Bernie Mac plays Bosley, the brother of Bill Murray's character, which they just seem to accept. Like, there's a scene where he's got Shia LaBeouf hiding out in his mum's house, and there's just a picture of Bill Murray on the wall.
I think I have to watch this.
I don't. And the shit with Crispin Glover. I mean, A, they brought Crispin Glover back. B, his entire thing is that he gets off on cutting hair off women, sniffing it, and then just screaming. It's like, you know that Crispin Glover was like, I'll come back, but only if I can do this.
Yeah.
And McG was just like, all right, then I want to see out where this goes.
Is there a possibility that in like 10 years' time we're going to look back on the career of McGee and go, do you know what? Take away Terminator Salvation.
I mean, these films are fun, and like I say, the first one, it is kind of silly, but it does kind of make sense in itself. This one, I mean, yeah, it is Full Throttle. It's fucking batshit. And I mean, Demi Moore's like the lead bad guy. She's an ex-angel. Looks really good in a swimsuit and looks like she can handle herself. Like, she's a very, very good villain. But then you've got Crispin Glover just playing a dude who likes to smoke cigarettes and scream. Yeah. There's some weird subversive shit going on with this film that it kind of feels like at some point in the near future it's going to be reclaimed by film Twitter.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if we end up getting a. There's a lot of. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting a current Charlie's Angels and the previous Charlie's Angels crossover.
Oh, nah. Never happen, mate. It will never happen. Like that film, the Charlie's Angels from last year, did so fucking badly that I think it's killed Charlie's Angels as a movie property.
I think it could just be because of lockdown, but there's been a lot of them doing bits about Charlie's Angels.
Of who, sorry?
Of Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, no, because Drew Barrymore's got a talk show now, hasn't she? So they kind of brought them all on.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot about it.
I mean, the thing is, honestly, I would watch another one of these films, either with this cast or the new cast, or a mashup. I would. Like, I like all three. I will say, I like all three of these films. But, I mean, I'm just having a look now. So Charlie's Angels did 73 million worldwide on a 48 million budget.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's...
Not
Jesus good. Wept. It did 17 million in the US.
Yeah, it bombed in the US.
I mean, 55 million internationally is not great, but that's actually not as bad as I thought it was. What did Full Throttle do? So Full Throttle did 259 million worldwide off of 120 million budget, so probably not really making money. But the first one was a 93 million budget and did 264. So that's the thing. If they just kept the budget down, yeah. So the Full Throttle was $24 million more. If they kept the budget down, then you're looking at, all right, you probably washed your face. Yeah.
They are a weird selection of films.
I mean, it's interesting because Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, they do Cameron Diaz does an awful lot of shaking her ass at the screen.
Yeah.
In it, and there's a moment in the first one where Drew Barrymore is like in a kind of like a racing suit. It's basically just got her tits out.
Yeah, it's heavy fucking cleavage.
Yeah,
it is. It literally is like, I'm gonna put some pasties on my nipples because you probably can see them.
Yeah, quite. And whereas the newer ones, none of those stars would ever do anything like that. But it's got, I don't know, it feels more, it feels sincere, whereas the McGee ones just felt like they were taking the piss. And maybe it would have been nice if, like, you could have a Charlie's Angels film that had an element of both to that. Like, Kristen Stewart is genuinely funny in the Elizabeth Banks one, but that's about it in terms of funny. That film does take itself quite seriously.
But a Charlie's Angels movie should do anything but take itself seriously.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Kristen Stewart, the one you think would take herself the most seriously, is the only one not taking herself seriously in that film. So there you go. That was my adventures with the McGee Charlie's Angels films. Yeah, I would now be perfectly happy to watch them again.
Good.
Didn't think I would have said that beforehand, so there we are. So, I know where the bastard sleeps.
You know.
Let's do Dracula, or should I say Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Which apparently that was the title because Francis Ford Coppola likes having the writers' names at the top of the films.
Yep.
I want to see who Jack was written by.
Let's have a fucking look. I always forget about Jack. Fucking hell. I saw Jack at the cinema.
Nice. It's Gary Nadeau's and James DeMonaco's Jack.
Jack.
I don't know, made me laugh.
I always forget that that's a fucking, what is it? That's a Francis Ford Coppola.
So, Bram Stoker's Dracula, 40 million budget, did 215 worldwide in 92 money.
And I'm fairly certain it's an 18.
Oh, hell yeah, it is. That, I mean, it made some fucking bank. You could see why they went for Frankenstein after, can't you?
They went for it with essentially like the unofficial Monsters reboot.
Yeah, quite. Where they actually made them fucking horror movies. Interesting. So, yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula is directed by Francis Ford Coppola, stars Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, Carrie Always, Richard E. Grant, Tom Waits, Sadie Frost, introducing Sadie Frost, and
which makes no sense because she's been in movies before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did they do that?
She was also in. She's been in not much, but she's been in a few before. I think it was maybe just to go, look, this is her on the big stage. But yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah. So this is a fucking interesting bit of work. This. I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff on the iTunes extras earlier on this evening, and it kind of feels like the cast were just like, it was a bit of a mess and things were getting written and rewritten every day, but I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fucking fun doing it.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. So, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Mark, I rudely interrupted you guys talking about it last week. So, what were your thoughts on rewatch?
The thing is, I haven't watched this for a number of years. And then Bex, we were scrolling through it a couple on Netflix, and Bex said, "You guys watching Bram Stoker's Dracula?" And I was like, yeah. And I think the last time I watched this was probably, it was on VHS. That was the last time I watched it.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you're probably touching 20 years since I watched this movie. It's the first time I think I watched it was on Laserdisc. But it's, and now knowing a lot more about cinema and the workings of how things work, it is very much like Francis Ford Coppola is trying to use every fucking trick in the book. He's got a big old fucking bag of fucking tricks and he wants to fucking use them all, whilst also looking at that 18 certificate and going, oh, I'm earning that. I am earning that. I am taking the book literally, and then I'm going to add shit to it as well. So, you want to see Sadie Frost get fucked by a dog? You're going to see Sadie Frost getting fucked by a dog. You want to see fucking Tom Waits going full fucking batshit, being tied up fucking weird? You're going to fucking see that. You want to see fucking Keanu Reeves rolling around while Monica Bellucci sucks on his arm? You're going to see it. And you want to see Gary Oldman just do every fucking accent he can think of all at once? You're going to see it. It's just, it grabs you at the start when you've got Hopkins giving his doing the Van Helsing over the top of it and doing like the narrator's bit, and every so often reminding you how Welsh Hopkins can be, which is brilliant. And he's doing that, and then you've got the big fucking epicness, and then you've got him stabbing across. Literally at the start of the movie, he stabs across, and then the fucking blood just goes everywhere, and you're going, all right. So in your version of Dracula, Franny, essentially Dracula just decides to become Dracula.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant. Dracula just gets that angry with God that he becomes Dracula.
I mean, that's the thing. It's it's that dodgeball meme of like, well, it's an interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays off. Bold strategy. That was it.
And literally, it's that, and it's glorious in its pomposity, and it's the fact that you have what essentially is quite a large budget movie for the time, 92, and it's not like because you look back at it and go, no, because something like T2 was a large budget movie. It's like, no, T2 was a stratospheric budget movie. 100 million, that didn't happen around this time. Yeah. But to make essentially what is unapologetically a genre and a B movie, and to make that with what at the time weren't quite, you look back at it and go, were huge stars. They were up and comers, and we now view as huge stars. But Franny Coppola was the star of this movie at the time, anyway, and more Hopkins than anybody else. Who Hopkins is having a blast in this movie. It's chaotic, it's ridiculous, but my God, it is watchable.
Yeah, totally.
It's him. He's grown younger.
I mean, there's some fucking casting choices in this, man. I mean, Keanu Reeves, like, he's trying very, very hard.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work.
It does not work. And Winona doesn't work either.
No, quite. No, I mean, there's that bit where they get married and they start kissing and whatnot. It's like it was almost like they were just going to start fucking right there and then.
They were close to it, weren't they? They were horny, but not for each other at the time.
Yeah.
He's still horny for that little fucking, that room he had. That room of fucking decadence and fucking his Gomorrah. And she was horny for the Count.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. It's like the first hour and a quarter of this film, I think, is just sensational.
Yeah.
Like that. Like Lottie's going to bed too. Sorry about that. Yeah, just that fucking like fighting costume he's got on at the beginning, where it just basically looks like musculature.
Yeah, it's mental.
Woo! Like, wow. Oh, all right, dog. Sorry, honey. All right. Note to self: don't do that in front of the dog. Sorry, kids. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of perfect timing.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, no, but I mean, like, you could see why this won Best Costume Design at the Oscars, or at least I'm pretty fucking sure it did. But yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Like, the differing versions of Dracula, just incredible. That, like, the entire beginning of Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman with like the shadows. Just amazing work. I mean, it's Coppola just full on. I fucking love cinema. Here's some fucking cinema.
Yes.
And that's great. I think it becomes less successful later on when it's suddenly trying to sell you on actually Winona Ryder really is into him.
Yeah.
And wants to be taken by him and whatnot. And it's a bit like, where's this coming from?
Yeah, it is a little bit like, what? You've taken a big turn back on yourself.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, she gets married to Jonathan and she says, but I still have feelings for my prince, I hope he's okay. And then 5 minutes later, she's literally saying, like, take me away from all this death, I want to be with you, let fucking suck me off. Yeah. And even Dracula's quite surprised by it.
He's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't want a committed relationship. I'm immortal. Can you imagine what I'd be like if we were together forever?
Yeah, quite. But then you do have Anthony Hopkins being full on fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
There's
a bit where he kind of discovers that it's Dracula that he's actually facing, and he gets really excited, and he's there with Richard E. Grant and Cary Elwes, and he's going, oh, it's Dracula. He's like, oh, well, but what about my Lucy? And he's like, oh, she's horribly deaf. And it's just like, he seems so excited. He's like, come on, I'm really hungry. Let's go for something to eat.
Oh God, yeah. I like just the weird lack of bedside manner that he's got with all, like, at the Lucy's funeral. It's just like, can we take the body? Like, what do you need for an autopsy? No, I just want to take off her head and pull out her heart.
Yeah. It's the way he says it.
No, it's just like amazing. Like, he's doing it all with such a fucking knowing wink. But that's the thing. It's like the performances are just mental because Winona Ryder's quite subdued. Sadie Frost is fucking going for it.
I adore Sadie Frost in this fucking movie.
I bet you do.
Absolutely fucking brilliant.
Like Psycho Hose Beast, isn't she? So that's all you.
There's so many fucking boxes being ticked.
Yeah.
Literally, Bex at one point turned around and went, Sadie Frost, like, said, Sadie Frost, she's not very good in this, is she? And I kind of shot her a look and just went, oh, the crazy, horny fucking redhead Mark likes. Well, there's a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, that's the job that she's doing in this film. From the off, she's horny as shit. Yeah. And she's found this beast man who's giving her absolutely everything she wants. It's
it literally is a beast man.
Yeah. I mean, it's something else. Is this film? And I've watched it a few times over the last few years, and it's just very, very entertaining. But I will say, I think I remember it more for the earlier goings on than I do for the rest of it. Even though I will say, though, saying that one bit where they kind of catch him towards the end, and is he like hanging upside down or something, and then like you just see his red eyes, and it kind of goes into darkness, and then the light turns on. It's just rats, and it's like, that is incredible. Coppola was going for something here, and I think he pulls it off because the subject matter meets him.
Yeah, he manages to land enough crazy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely not shit. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's definitely not shit. It's a glorious, absolute. It's not even like a mess of a film. It has some odd elements that just manage to work in its favour rather than against it. Whereas realistically, it should usually work against it. It's almost. It's the closest to. It's the closest I think Coppola has got to sort of the chaoticness of Apocalypse Now without being Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, absolutely.
And our audience poll was definitely not shit 71%.
Nice.
Touching cloth 21% and shit 7%.
Okay, fair enough. Very good. Also, I will say it looks really nice in 4K on iTunes, and the iTunes version's in fucking Atmos as well. It's like, wow,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. So questions. What have we got?
So we have one from Paul Dan, who says,
nice.
in honour of Bram Stoker's Dracula, what's the worst attempt at a British accent ever committed to film? You can't have Dick Van Dyke. Ian, are you going to say Dick Van Dyke?
No, I'm not, because I don't want to piss Paul off.
No, I mean, it's
Cheadle
John
in the
Cheadle in
Ocean's
it.
films. Yeah.
It's John Cheadle in the Ocean's films. You know, it's the obvious fucking winner. I mean, there will be other ones out there. There's, what the fuck is it? Give me 2 seconds and I will find out. I can't remember the guy's name. Give me 2 seconds while I fucking do this. Which film is it I'm thinking of? Where the fuck is it? Is it Lethal Weapon? I think I can't think of the film where Lethal Weapon. Where you have what's his name? The guy from Blade Runner. It's not, is it? Back.
I don't know.
I need to think of this. You know, you've got something in your head and you can see it, but it's not, 'cause it's Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash. What's his name from Blade Runner? Who plays Leon in Blade Runner?
Oh God.
Ryan James.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tango and Cash plays a guy doing a British accent, and it is fucking horrendous. Like at one point, Kurt Russell calls him a limey bastard, and you go, "Oh, is he playing British?"
Nice.
Honestly, he sounds like an Australian doing a bad South African accent.
One or t'other.
It's summer, yeah, but it's that. But yeah, Don Cheadle is the answer.
Nice.
Ethan M. Barr, inspired by Enola Holmes, which famous character's sibling would you like to watch a movie about? Ooh. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good question, that.
There's got to be one. There's got to be like a really fucking obvious one. Like fucking, like, I don't know. Sarah Connor's got a brother, and he just has to deal with all of like the medical bills.
Nice.
It's like a comedy starring Ron Livingston.
Rambo's sister just keeps on turning up like 2 hours after he left.
Yeah, just going, what's he done now?
Yeah, exactly.
Rambo's supposed to have a sister, actually.
Oh, really?
The original idea for him when he goes back after Rambo to the farm was going to be that his father was still alive, and that he actually had a sister that he kind of knew about but has never met, and then it was supposed to be his niece was captured by the cartel, and that's how it became what we got for Rambo Last Blood. That his niece was captured by the cartel, and he goes to Mexico to get her back, and the whole thing was supposed to be set in Mexico in like a Sicario kind of manner, but it never. It was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be the last of the movies. There was supposed to be that one and then another one, which was just him back at the farm, and was supposed to be a bit more of a think piece kind of one to kind of bookend them all. So that was supposed to be the original idea for that. So originally he was supposed to have a sister.
That would have been a hell of a thing.
Yeah, that was the original ideas, but then Stallone kind of got sidetracked with Expendables, and then it could never quite nail the film going back.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened with that. But yeah, I want Sarah Connor's brother who needs to just sort of deal with all the shit that's going on and kind of make sense of all the crazy. But I want it to be a comedy written and directed by Mike Judge, starring Ron Livingston.
That's good shit. No, nice, good answer that.
So partially like an Office Part 2. Office Space Part 2.
Oh dear.
I mean, another one. Rick J. Kidd. Combine the two films being reviewed. If you were casting Dracula and Sherlock Holmes, who would you pick for each role? Only limitation, they can't have already played the role before.
Javier Bardem as Dracula.
That's a really good shout. Can't work out if he's handsome Bardem.
Oh, it'd be too much for me.
Yeah. Can I have for Sherlock Holmes? Can I have Olivia Colman?
Fucking hell, that's a really good choice.
Like as like a proper Sherlock Holmes, but yeah, just that. I don't want it as a fucking BBC fucking drama or comedy. I want it as a proper fucking movie.
Yeah.
That is a proper Sherlock Holmes movie. But I think Olivia Colman would fucking nail that.
I think those are our answers. Fuck it.
Yeah. I couldn't think of one for the Dracula. I can tell you who the worst ever casting of Dracula was.
Who?
Dominic Purcell in Blade Trinity.
Oh God, that's right.
He's the least threatening Dracula ever.
Yeah.
It's just, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but they made him so mid-noughties, like fucking homosexual chic.
Yeah, sure. Oh, man.
Absolutely that. In a movie that shouldn't work at all, but you kind of like because it's getting dragged along by the sheer force of personality of Parker Posey and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And you kind of watch it going, I guarantee you in Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes fucking hated working with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, Snipes did not have a good time on that in general, did he?
No, he didn't like doing it, did he?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think we've got two fucking solid answers there. Fuck, can you imagine that? Like a Park Chan-wook directed in the style of like Thirst Dracula movie starring Javier Bardem.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
Oh, the dog's looking at me again because I made that noise.
That would be a fucking great one.
Oh dear. Very good. Very good. That brings us to the end of episode 365 of Film Bastards. Thank you very much for listening. We shall return with stuff.
Yep.
LFF coverage will start, but we don't quite know what we're going to be covering on the show yet. So do keep listening. Patreon.com/Film Bastards. Ian's Guide to Bondage returning should be this week. Have you got any other podcast records coming up at all?
No, I think we've got obviously there'll be a Playing It Forward coming up, and then we've got I think me and Noel are planning on before the end of the year, which I know seems like it's 3 months, but really, realistically, what is it? We've got another Tales of the Tape Deck coming out. So if you want to check out that previous episode of that, which is on Ice-T, where I talked to Noel about Ice-T, we've got another episode coming out shortly where Noel talks to me about, I talked to Noel about John Mayer. So that's coming up, and there'll be another Slater cast at some point soon. Which we fucking. We are Pod Syndicate gang just fucking throw a podcast out there like a motherfucker.
We try.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, we try. Right, so that'll be it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Take care, stay safe, wear your mask, and we'll speak to you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.